I don't know how this goes, so let's try it out.
So was it on the bingo sheet for the second longest game in program history to be your first as kind of the active coach?
Sure, absolutely. Just how we drew it up, right? Well, I mean, first, I know I'm not answering your question, but it's like people don't understand how hard, it is from a work ethic standpoint, our head coaches. I mean, this guy is the hardest working guy I've ever been around, and I try and chase him as a close second. I just know how hard it was for him not to be here, and it just kind of speaks to his humility of just separating things that are really, really important in life, like his family, and I think our guys can kind of feed off that. They can trust him because he's just a normal guy that just wants to help these guys out. So I know that the only way we're going to make him proud is by finding a way to get it done, and I was so pumped for our guys, but didn't matter how long it was going to take. Our guys were going to find a way to get it done, so it's cool.
What's the BP like after that? Has your blood pressure been elevated since, or?
I just got a headache. That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
But our guys were, it was hard going there for a while. I think that what happens when you have a team that's the way that we are, they're really, really close. They love it here. They love being here. Is that they're going to try their tail off. And in this game, it's like chess, man. Baseball's different than other sports. You gotta relax. You gotta stay calm. You gotta let your body move the right way. And when you over try, it's gotta get really, really difficult, especially when you're facing great arms like we faced. But I was just pumped that our guys just kept saying that we're gonna find a way to get this thing done, and we did with doing things that we don't normally do. It was Braden with a great at-bat, and it found a way, and he stole, which was awesome, and then obviously Burke, find a way to get a drag down to win it left on left, so it was cool.
Devin Bell, Oregon career-high innings pitched and career-high strikeouts, and Jonah Barkhoff as well, career-high innings pitched and tied the career-high strikeouts. Could you just talk about their step-up performance today?
Yeah, Oregon kids. Those are Oregon kids, and, those guys are just wanting the ball. I actually, it's a testament to Flo and Straley, right, for how much they've worked with those guys and what those guys have, gone through, or even the fall to be prepared for those moments. But Bell just basically said, I'm coming back today, and you're not taking me out. Jonah, after even his rough outing on Thursday, was a stud. But all of our guys, I thought, out of the bullpen, it was maybe the best pitching performance I've ever been a part of. Especially coming out of that pen, and I was just so pumped for him.
Do you remember playing in the 17-inning game against Wichita State?
Vaguely, right. I remember it not working out well.
Yeah.
And I remember my coach at the time, Mike Kirby, I remember I flew out to the wall. It was a good memory for me. I don't forget any of those things. They were trying to do too much to try and win the game. And so that's what we're talking about with our guys. You can't win it with one swing. You got to win it with small ABs, right? But yeah, I remember it. I remember my coach, Coach Horton, and Kirby and those guys, just saying just to keep it really simple. And we couldn't do that because we were over trying to win that game. And it's always great reminders for us of how you win those super long ones is just by playing good baseball.
Do those previous conversations with Horton and Kirby come up in your brains? You're calling the game today as this one keeps dragging on.
Not necessarily just that, but they all come up. Every situation that's ever happened for me in baseball or that I've been a part of is part of what helps you make the right decision or things like that. There were some decisions that we made that weren't necessarily perfect, right? Max slashing right versus sacking, but that was with the right intent. Like we knew what we were trying to do, and it was the best situation for us to try and score, and it didn't work, right? If it's the drag that Urban got, I'll never forget that, right? It bothers me. I didn't put my guys in the right situation to be able to do that, but they overcame it. But at the end of the day, you always live those out, because it's what helps you make the right decision at the right time if you can. But it's also something that Waz is unbelievable at too.
You've been a part of this program in various roles over the years, but almost for the majority of the program's rebirth in 2009 to where it is now. And what's it just been like for you to have a hand in that? Now you guys are going to head on to the Big Ten tournament with a chance to earn a host bid in the tournament.
Yeah, I love it here. My wife played soccer here. My sister's coaches softball here. I'm a Southern California kid that fell in love with going to Oregon. And so. Just being a part of that from the start, I was blessed to have an opportunity to play here. And I think that our players can kind of feed off of maybe my authenticity with that because I do love it here. It's an amazing place. and so the way that you can coach your guys the right way is by, ultimately them knowing that it really is a place that they should fall in love with. And I don't think that happens in college sports as much as it should. And so when they know that their coaching staff, we have a bunch of Oregon Ducks that are here, that all played here, I think they can trust us a little bit more and understand how special that this place actually is.
When did the printed out photo of Waz make its way up onto the rail? Was that there the whole game, or?
It was actually. I mean, I would say maybe the actual best coaching moments that were there. And so that happened probably early in the game. It was tucked away in the corner where he usually sits. And it was just a funny way for our guys to understand that, like, we're normal too, right? We're trying to keep it where it's relaxed and things that are like that, but we weren't going to let him miss this game, in any way. I think that was Straley that put him down there, which is cool.
That was the first game in the series where you scored first. How much of an emphasis was that coming into the game?
It's an emphasis every single game, right? But I think that what our guys did was that they responded the right way from us not doing that, the last 2 days. I think that they had great pitching, obviously. We didn't do it on Thursday. We didn't do it yesterday in terms of getting it done early on. But, our guys came in, wanting to execute at least that point of emphasis like it always is. And, man, I love the way that we came out. It was awesome.
How was it being a Southern California guy beating USC? Does it hit any harder?
No, every game's the same for me, but I got a lot of respect for those coaches. I think they do a great job. They're great coaches that are over there on that side too. But every game's the same for us. It's all about us, I guess, in a sense. Like, it doesn't matter who we're playing, we're going to make it all about us.
Feels like so long ago, but Miles Gospela in a little different situation today, just not usually the Saturday guy, but could you talk about his performance?
Yeah, he's just been grinding. He's makeup, mentality, like not even being a starter at the beginning of the year, working all the way through. I'm just proud of his grit. That's what he's about. He's a Northwest kid that is all about grit, and that's what we need on that last day of the series. And he gave us, just a huge chunk of innings. We didn't think it was going to go however many that it did, but it was necessary. And Flo broke that all down before the game of how it was going to go, and it did all the way up until the ninth, basically. And then we got to, piggyback him. But yeah, he's awesome, man. I love that kid.
They don't call it a suicide squeeze for nothing. Was that the plan the whole way through if you got a guy on third, or what was kind of the matchup you saw there that makes that effective? Yeah, that was definitely not the plan. But Burke's a really good bunter. He just has proven that in his work. It's a left-on-left matchup. Matson's been dominating us, and he did that. It's a really tough angle for him. I actually thought that Burke was going to find a way to do it no matter what, but in the initial play of it, it's like it's always what's the best chance for us to win? Like, what's the best chances for us to score? Third baseman was playing back, and when that opportunity came, I just look at it from a percentage standpoint, like, how do we score right here? And, worst case, if he shows and it's a ball, it puts a little bit of stress on them on the defensive side. It opens up a hole where Burke's flat and he can hit a ball to that backside like he showed earlier in the game. And so I was good with all of that. And I'm just pumped for the kid that he got it done, which is sweet.
Maddox had a tough one on Thursday, and today it hits the home run and makes that sweet double play. Could you talk about just veteran players bouncing back when it matters? Yeah, I mean,
Maddox is an unbelievable person. He's an academic All-American. He's been a freshman All-American. He's just a crazy, unbelievable kid. He's going to be successful doing whatever he does, And so, when you have people that are like that, they put the weight of the world on their shoulders. They're human beings, they're kids, they're baseball players. And for him actually to respond the way he did yesterday, I thought was a big deal. He's an unbelievable shortstop. I don't know a better defensive shortstop that's out there in the country. That has never wavered at all, which is amazing to me, how tough that he is. And, he's earned that. He just continues to grind. He made some subtle adjustments even the last couple of days, and it paid off, and I'm just pumped for him. I'm actually, in a way, I'm actually more pumped about his double down the right field line, because I think it's a bigger testament to where he's continuing to go. But, we're going to need him, and he knows that. And, but more importantly, that's what a winner does. They adjust, and they continue to compete for their team. So,
seen a lot of guys hitting the 9-hole over the past couple of days. What's the story behind that?
Jax is, obviously banged up, right? He's coming into play and then coming out, but he's been grinding. Man, that kid is like chomping at the bit to get back in there, and so, it's actually a testament to him. Like, he's yelling at us about get me in there, and he's, I'm hoping that he can be back soon. But at the same time, all those other guys are ready too. Like, Miranda's been such a captain, Schleicher, all those guys. Cook is an unbelievable defender. He's right along with Jack Brooks, and we have a bunch of guys. It's like a sliding door. Whatever the best matchup is at the time, we're going to go with. And so, until obviously we get things set up, but those guys don't care. They just want to win. So which is great.
3 straight loud PK Park environments, and just leaving so many people still there in the 14th inning of a baseball game. Could you talk about the environment all week at PK Park?
Yeah, it's awesome. It's when I was a player here, it's so fun. And so we just appreciate it. We need them, but it shows in all the sports that we have. It's an Oregon pride. This is a blue collar place. You don't get that on the outside. People on the inside do. And so when they see a team that's battling like we battle and playing the way that we play, and I'm hoping that they're a team to really, really root for, and hope we can take care of some business here coming up and give ourselves a chance to get it back into PK. That'd be great.